Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. What is it? Video. This video you want to take, not that video?
Yeah. I mean, it's I start from there on. That's something.
Okay, I can use it. You think it's better? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Technology. Let's pray together, dear Lord says, as we always do. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Let's do it together. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Nanda Gopakumara Govindaya Namo Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namah. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Chari Nirvishesha Navadi Paschata Desakari Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I would really like to welcome all of you for our Gita course. Thank you very much for joining. So, it is mentioned in our scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam, Shrunuta Swadhaya Nityam, Grunuta Swachestitam, Kalena Nati Dirghena, Bhagavan Vishate Hridi. A lot of people ask, how do we see Lord? And here in this verse, Lord is revealed. So how Lord is revealed? it is mentioned that we can see the Lord through hearing. That is the best form of seeing the Lord. That's the best form of darshan of the Lord. Easily, in all our philosophies, they call darshan shastras, sudarshan shastras. So we cannot, through our charma chakshus, we cannot see the Lord. We have to see the Lord through the shastra chakshu, through the eyes of the scriptures, through the eyes of the sadhus, through the eyes of the realized souls who have understood this meaning of the scriptures. So I would like to hear from you before we proceed, as we always do. So what we have learned so far, specifically last week, we talked a lot about science, spirituality, soul, God. Anybody would like to share a couple of points? Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
We suffer because of our ignorance. We suffer in this life. And we also learn about like we can't deny the fact that there should be failure of this so much complex universe, so much complex body. So what is confirmed that God exists, so we should not deny the fact. And how we don't want to be more knowledge saying that okay, I already know everything and we don't want to learn about certain place. And we learned about how whenever we take any action, we should know why we are doing that, what is the content, how we are doing that, and what is the consequence of our action. Then only we should take action according to that.
Very good. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Anybody else? For the benefit of everybody. Because our process is called Sravanam and Kirtanam. So we hear and then we share. Because people think that ISKCON means ISKCON se USKCON. It's not about hearing from this ear and it goes through the other ears. It has to go deep inside our heart as well. And it has to come from our mouth. Then will we understand that yes, just now we chanted this verse. Srunutam Sraddhaya Nityam. We should hear with faith and Grunuta Sachestitam. We should apply it, we should accept it, in our life. And then Kalena Nati Dirghana, just a matter of time, Lord will reveal himself within our heart. Yes. Anybody else? So if somebody asks, who are you? You will say, I am so and so. I am an Indian. I am Hindu. I am mother of someone. I am father of someone. I am husband of someone. Right? I am the soul. Hari. So next time, in the office, somebody asks, who are you? Who are you? So you will say, I am the soul. Right? So last time also we discussed, there are two aspects of it. Because till now, we are introducing ourselves as the only this bodily aspect, only our functional identity. Functional identity as a mother or a father or a sister or a brother of, right, or as an employee of someone. But then we also understand that we are the spirit soul. How do you know? We gave so many reasons. Anybody remembers what are the reasons we gave? Anybody knows? Anybody remembers? What are the reasons if somebody asks, how do you prove that there is a soul? Right? How do you know that there is a life after death? How do you tell them? Any one or 2 points you remember? In reincarnation, very good. And we talked about so many examples, right? Like that small video that from National Geographic channel, we saw that how there was a small boy, he was remembering his past life. And like in detail, though he had not gone to any aero kind of learning, but he knew the details behind how it really runs. Right? He had vivid memory of his sister and family and so on. Yes, like if you see that this life is one set and the previous life is another set, if there is no common in between, right? And if there is no common in between, how a person remembers from this life to another life? There must be something in common, right? From the set A to set B. What is that common? So, is it clear? Right? Because it's a very, very important for us to understand that yes, we are the soul, right? Not only the body. Because intuitively also we say, this is my hand, my leg, my eyes, my ears. Means I am different from this body. And then also, right, there are so many other ways also. We talk about out of body experience, right? Some people who are really going through some surgery, right, a difficult time, right? They were in the deathbed, right? Completely brain dead, but still they could understand what was really happening to them because they really moved out of that body and they really come back and recollect their experience. Okay. And then also we heard from the Shastras, especially Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and all our scriptures in different religion also, they talk about that how the life goes on from one life to another life. The soul goes on from one life to another life. Then also we talked about that, it's not that we are all in all, there is a God. Or are we really controlling everything? Why there is a systematic, flawless universe? Is it come by chance? Has it come by chance? We discussed about the Big Bang, or is it a small bang? Can somebody really come up with a small bang company and you really invest all your money there? Or we talked about, the monkey, right? Monkey, you give a laptop and can the monkey type with a Shakespeare's novel? Is it possible? No. We saw that how intricate, the parts of eyes or the parts of the DNA or the cell, how intricately designed. Who has designed that? We see a flower, a rose, right? Now, if somebody has painted it, we say, who has painted it? We say that, okay, somebody has really given a craft of a rose. We say that, oh, somebody has not only having some colors into a flower, but also he has put some effort in putting a paper into a rose. So in that rose, you have a form and you have a color, right? But is that rose, does it have a fragrance? No, right? The fragrance really comes only with a natural flower. And who really gives that fragrance to that? Right? And who has really, brought this life to a body? Right? Who has really created this entire universe? We talked about the fingerprint. So you might not see the Lord, but you can see the fingerprint of the Lord. How do you see? Anybody knows? Yeah, that Fibonacci theorem that we say that, that how the specific design is there in most of the universe and how wonderful it is, isn't it? Like when we see something beautiful, right? We see that, oh, who has done it? Who has designed it? Who has created it? Who has invented it? Yes, and somebody might ask that, okay, how do we see the God? For everything, there is a specific experiment. For biology, you want to see something, you need a microscope. For chemistry lab, you need a litmus paper. For physics lab, you need a vernier caliper. And for spiritual science also, the instruments are different, right? Even the process, right? Not only the tools are different, but the process also different, right? The way you extract, the sugar from the sugarcane juice, or from the fragrance from a flower, right? Or the ghee from a milk. Everywhere, the process is different, isn't it? Similarly, you want to see the Lord everywhere, right? The process is also different. We cannot say that, oh Lord, if you are here, just be in front of me. Is it possible? Can you use the same experiment, same tool, and same process? No. That's why we are so fortunate. Why it is said that Mera Bharat Mahan. The Mera Bharat Mahan is not because of that, okay, now we have just gone to Chandrayaan, or we have, come up with a, the Silicon Valley of, India is a Bangalore and so on. Right? We are fortunate because, in this pious land, we really, all the scriptures, all the sadhus, ranging from the south. You talk about Ramanacharya, Madhavacharya, or the Tukaram, or Narsi Mehta, Gyandev, and all the Goswamis. In each part of the world, especially India, right? You go and you will find there is a tinge of love of God. And forget about that. Like if you see elderly people, all the names are also with some Lord's name, right? Earlier you would not find Tinku, Minku, Rinku, Pinku like that, right? Always, Ram, Syam, Madhav, Govinda, Gopal, Narayana, Shiva, right? Nagaraj, and all with names. It really shows that yes, there is a Lord, and there is we want to really chant the Lord's name, because by chanting the Lord's name, you get specific energy, right? Yes, there are so many reasons that we talked about last time. So yes, we are not ignoring the science. Yes, science, is a study of matter, but the spiritual science or the spirituality is the science of what matters. Is it clear? The science deals with matter, but the spirituality deals with what matters. Like, just to give one example, you come to this program. You can study, okay, how many tiles are there, how many, these mats are there, how many flowers are there in the garlands, right? Okay, which TV it is. You can study so many things, but is that the purpose that you are coming here? No, you are coming here to really learn Bhagavad Gita, right? What really matters here? To study Bhagavad Gita, right? Yes, we are not ignoring. Yes, we are trying to create a proper ambience for everybody, whoever is coming, to really understand, right, this process of Bhagavad Gita. But if somebody comes here and just tries to understand, okay, how many mats are there, and spends all the time counting how many tiles are there, how many tube lights are there, it's a waste of time. Waste of time, isn't it? Right? That's what, like most of the times, we are all spending all our time in so many, so-called nonsense things, that we really misuse, whatever Lord has given to us. Lord has given us this limited time. Lord has given this like $1 million check, right? 1 crore of check. And we don't know that we have been given that, right? And we are just crying everywhere. Oh, I have so much problem. I have this problem, that problem. I'm not getting money. Dear friends, says, you have already this money. Why don't you use it and cash it? Go to the bank and deposit it and get that money. That's what Lord is saying. Lord is within our heart, right? It's just really up to us. How do you really bring out that love within our heart? And for that, there is a process. Nothing comes easy. Nothing comes by chance. We have to follow a process. Are we clear so far? Or any questions, comments? Okay. Yes, please. Yes. Yeah, if somebody says, there is only one life, right? Even if there is one life, right? We can see that, have you seen that? Like, especially the child, in the womb, might also think that, oh, is there a life after, beyond that womb? Right? Because, the child at that point of time, he doesn't have that vision, he doesn't have that reality, right? But, at that point of time, doctor or mother knows that, yes, it's just a matter of time. If he goes through the process, he will see the light of the day, right? Or like, if you talk about, this, so many, umpteen, like we talked about, the examples, right? Why, right? Somebody is really born so rich and somebody is really born in so poor family. Why somebody is really born with a diseased body and why somebody has a healthy body being born, right? Why doesn't everybody start from the zero then? If this is the only life, it should get reset and everybody should start from the zero, right? Even a twin of the same mother, same DNA, right? They are having a different behavior, right? Different paths. Why it is so? Because they are two different souls. They carry different bank balance, right? Well, how can you really explain that, right? So that's why we try to summarize, in a beautiful acronym. Last time also we talked about, okay. So please remember this. The summary of last session and the summary of even the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The G stands for we are not all in all. There is a God in control. Please repeat after me. We are not all in all. There is a God in control. Now, then we understand our identity, right? This body is not all in all. Soul exists. This lifetime is not all in all. Many more lifetimes exist. This material world is not all in all. Spiritual world exists. This is the Sar. You can say Gita Sar. So it really talks about, that's what we discussed last time. Who is God? There is a God. There is a God who is in control of everything. Yes, we might have some limited control, but Lord, the CEO, who is a controller, enjoyer, the owner, he is having the control of everything. Then we talked about identity, how we are the soul, and the soul exists everywhere, even in a plant. And see how the vastness of our scriptures till maybe 100 years back, people didn't know that in a plant the life exists, but we know, right, from the scriptures that how, right, there is a life in the plant also, and this life is not all in all, right? We talked about this reincarnation, how this Dr. Jan Stevenson, and there are a lot of scientists, they have done a lot of research, right, through this recognition, remembrance, different behaviors, how people remember their past life, right? So they are really pure play research, and I think we had shared some videos as well for your consumption to watch them. You must have seen that how we have gone through many more lifetimes, and yes, if we don't go back to Godhead, then are many more lifetimes to come. And then we should really aim for our the supreme goal. The supreme goal is what? Not to kind of come to this world of birth and death, the cycle of birth and death, punarapi janani, right? Like, how once again we come into the womb of a mother and we suffer for so many months, and then once again we start, Baba Black Sheep, and then Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and then we start crying, and the mummy doesn't understand, sometimes laughs and sometimes gives milk, and then we don't want to go to school, we are thrown into the school, and we don't want to go to office, but still we have to go to office, right? But Lord is saying that there is a wonderful place, there is a spiritual world, right? Where there is every step is a dance, every word is a song, right? Everywhere, the devotees of the Lord are having full of Sachidananda, they are releasing, right? Are you clear so far? Have you remembered this acronym, and have we really taken into our heart? Okay, let's move forward. Okay, and our acharyas, they are giving a very beautiful analogy to understand, right? Who are we, right? They are saying that, yes, we are the soul, and the soul is covered with something called gross body, right? Which is made of Panchabhut, Mahabhuta, this earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And then there is one subtle body, which consists of mind, intelligence, and false ego, right? So we can really compare it with somebody really wearing a three-piece suit, right? One your shirt, right? Then the inner one, and then the outer coat, right? So the outer body, this muscle, bone, blood, this all is our gross body, right? Or which consists of this bhumi apanalo vayu khammana buddhiri vacha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakriti astadha. This panchamahabhuta, right? This really consists of bhumi apanalo vayu, earth, water, fire, air, ether. But then the three other ones, mind, intelligence, false ego, they are called the subtle body. So you can say this is the two coverings, right? So we'll go deeper, as we go further, and then apart from this 8, there is this jiva, there is this soul. Okay, so we'll come back to this part once again, and we discussed about that, why we suffer, right? This agyan, ahankar, asakti, and anasuya. So in summary, right, we are suffering because of some sinful activities, right? Like somebody has really done some mistakes, some criminal activities, and he is put into jail. You add something, right, very heavy maybe yesterday, right? And then you have some problem in your stomach, right? Or the child commits some mischievous activities and mother, kind of give some punishment to him or her, right? Right? Somebody might ask that why, Lord has created this world with full of suffering. Now, how do you answer them? Why Lord has created this material world with full of suffering? Huh? Yes. To make us strong. Okay, very good. The first of all, we need to really understand that, like, why in a city there are schools, right? There are theaters, there are malls. At the same time, there is a jail also. There's a police station also. Why? Because yes, there are bound to have some people who really disobey the law, right? Yes, this place, is called Durg, and it's called. That's why the superintendent of this place is called Mother Durga, right? And she is there always with the trisul, always, giving the klesa to us. Oh, you have committed offense, you have really disobeyed the law, and you have come back here, and now you have to suffer. But the purpose of this place is to not to really suffer. The purpose of the jail is to not really, exterminate that person. The purpose of the jail is to purify. The purpose of the jail is so that you get corrected. We understand, we repent our mistake, and then we become a better version of ourselves, right? On the first session itself, we talked about this place is not a concentration camp, right? Concentration camp means like, I told you, right? Like, in Germany and some other places, how people used to take them into a gas chamber and they used to really, kill them very, very in a horrible way. Right? But this is not a like concentration camp. Lord is bringing here just to punish, so that we suffer. No, Lord is giving a little bit of just like loving father. Sometimes other father or a mother, sometimes they give in a controlled environment, right? Like I remember Srila Prabhupada, he was giving the example. One time, when Srila Prabhupada, he was a small boy. He was saying that like I was a small boy. I was always eager to put my finger into this table fan. But my father used to say that, no, if you put your finger and you'll get hurt. But then he was really adamant, right? No, you'll get hurt. No, I want to put and I want to try it out. So what his father did, he switched off the fan once it is slowed down. And then he said, okay, now you try to put it, you'll see. Right? Sometimes we are so adamant, we don't hear, right? Sometimes we think that our children are only, arrogant and disobedient, they don't hear. But we don't, we forget about ourselves. We also don't hear our scriptural scriptures, right? Or our spiritual masters, our all the devotees, what exactly they are giving. We forget that we have to also listen to them only, also, right? So, yes, and one time, one lady asked Srila Prabhupada, oh, Prabhupada, you see that whatever the Lord creates, everything is good, right? And this Lord is so beautiful. Why Lord has created this ugly place that people have to suffer, right? And understanding the situation there, which people are very gross, right? Especially in the West. And Prabhupada, replied also in a very gross way. He said that, you're so beautiful, but why there are so many obnoxious things are coming out of your body? Right? Of course, Lord is all pure, all Sichidananda. But sometimes, like Prabhupada used to say that, how does the spiritual world look like? How we will explain to the people who are taking always drugs, right? Is spiritual world is like an ocean of LSDs. So you don't really come down, you stay high forever. Right? So how our acharyas, they really give so beautiful examples for us to really, inject into our dull mind what is right and wrong. So, yes, we need to understand that it's not that Lord has created this suffering place. We have chosen to come to this suffering place because of our disobedience with the Lord. And then last time also we talked about, yes, we suffer because of our asuya, because of your envious, because of our comparing, right? Oh, why my neighbor is having this car, I am having this car, why he has having bungalow and I am having only 2 BHK, or why he's working on FANG company, I'm just working in a Indian private company, right? Always you start comparing, right, with what others are having, isn't it? Right? Somebody was saying that, right? Like just like a fish, if you want to judge the fish by, what exactly is the ability of the fish? Can you judge the fish? How it climbs the trees, right? Fish has a unique capability, bird has a unique capability, and monkey has a unique capability, right? Each of the birds, right? A bird like a peacock is having some beauty, crow has some features, maybe a pigeon having some features, or even a plants also, rose having some features, and a mango tree has some features. Everybody is so unique. Last time also we were discussing, even the snowflakes or even the leaves, each leaf of a tree, they are unique. Why you trying to compare, from one person to another person? Is it fair? Is it fair? Lord has given, everybody a customized suit. Like, we go to the hospital and, we say that, we are going through some problem, some disease. And we say that, oh, why, he or she is taking pink color medicine, and only once in a day injection, and or maybe, this syrup, and why I'm taking this green syrup. Can we say that to the doctor? Can you ask the doctor, oh, doctor, why you are giving me this syrup and this medicine? Right? This medicine is for you based on your disease, right? Similarly, we need to really understand that all of us are going through a process of purification, a process of, right, process through which we are getting purified. So we should not compare, from what somebody else is going through. Lord has really planned something for him or her that is good for him or her. Let's not compare, otherwise, one time one landlady, she was telling, once the maid came and asked, oh, madam, today I have a fever. What fever? Yes, I'm also having fever. I'm having 102. And the maid said, no, ma'am, I am having 103 fever. And the landlady started saying, how can you have more fever than me? Right? No. Somehow or other, we compare with each and everyone for each and everything, right? We compare our children with other children. We compare our body, our looks, how many how many likes we get in our posts, right? We can get so much absorbed in small things, petty things, right? So basically, like last time also we were sharing, right? What is suffering? Suffering means to not get what we want, and to get what we don't want, right? We want really like to have something and we don't get it, and we don't want something, we get it. Right? Yes, Lord has some specific plan for us, and we also suffer because of temporary material attachments, right? The asakti, we said. What is that? That we always keep on thinking that, right? Always remember that monkey. You remember that we want more and more and more and more and more. But as we understand, right, none of these things in this material world will give us happiness, right? What really gives happiness is that once we really feed our soul, right? One time, we were just going, and we saw that there was a ant, right? And this ant saw that like this ant was carrying a leaf, maybe 5 times the weight of the body of the ant. And then like the ant saw that there is a gap, right? And then what the ant did, he put that leaf, right? And then he scrolled over the leaf, and then once again he carried the leaf, and then he went forward. And they were carrying with so much of labor. And then finally, we thought that maybe, he reached the destination, and he saw that there is a hole, right? Where that ant was supposed to enter. Then what he did, he realized to put that leaf also inside that hole. What he realized, that that hole is so small, it cannot take inside, right? Why I'm telling this story? Right? Yes. And while it started carrying the leaf, didn't realize that the hole is very small and it cannot carry that leaf to that place. Right? But for all of us also, We are doing so many big projects. We are getting big zeros. And at the end, what do we carry to our next life? Once we have maybe 5 crore in our bank account, in our next birth, it starts with 0 or 5 crores. Now we have double PhD, 3 postdocs. So in our next life, should we start from there, or should we start once again from A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Where do we start? Right? Do we carry anything? Just like, you go to an airport, right? Just you can really realize, right? There are some things which we can carry in our aeroplane, in the flight. There are some things which we cannot carry, isn't it? The same thing also, we need to realize that there are some things which we will carry to our next life. There are some things which we cannot carry. So whatever effort that we put it, right, to get so many big things, and at the end, right, they are zeros. But at the same time, right, we discussed in our first session itself, though all the things that we have might be big zeros, but then once we put 1 in front of that, it becomes 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, right? Like 1 lakh, 1 million, 1 billion, right? Each zero has its value, right? So some people might think that, oh, let's reject, whatever we have in this world. No, Lord is not saying to reject everything. Lord is saying that don't be attached to them and use them in the service of the Lord. Put them in the service of the Lord. That's why it says Bhavan and Ban. You always remember that we are not the all in all. There is a God, right? Yes, we are not the doer. We are not the controller. We are not the enjoyer. That's what Lord is saying again and again. It's a very beautiful verse, 5.29 in Bhagavad Gita. Bhaktaram yajna tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram surhudam sarva bhutanam gyatva mam santim richati. He's giving peace formula. Lord Krishna is giving a peace formula. What he's saying? And the real peace is that once you understand that, we are the trustee of whatever is given to us. As a trustee, we cannot misuse it. We cannot abuse it. But at the same time, we can use it for the service of the Lord. Okay. So now let's change the gear a little bit. Okay. So whenever we come across some problem, some difficulty, some challenges, how do you react? Right? If boss says that, okay, the project that you have worked is really nonsense, or you cook something and the husband says, oh, it is it's crappy today, or or like you do so much of hard work, and then the wife says, oh, what you have done for me, right? Or like suddenly you come up with some big accident in your life, some big disease in your life. Right? There could be so many different kinds of problems, different forms of problem, different sizes of the problems will come. Right? So in no way we can generalize it. Right? Each of the situation needs a customized solution. Right? What we are trying to discuss today is just a framework. Right? It's just a framework, because you see even the birds also. There is a bird called buzzard. Right? It runs right for around 10 feet or so, and then it starts flying. But the bat, it needs some elevation to fly, right? And there are some birds, right, which really kind of take off, right, from wherever they are, right? Each of the bird with this different ambience, they react in a different way. They are customized to live in a different way, right? So we cannot really bring one solution from one person to another person. But what we are trying to discuss is some framework that we can really take into our life, which we can really implement it in some ways, and it can really benefit all of us through the eyes of the scriptures. Okay, so whenever there is some problem, right, how do we usually react? How do you react? Panic, yes. Why this happens to me, right? This is a very good question. We always ask, why it happened to me? Whenever some good things happens, why don't say why it happened to me, right? Do you anytime ask? Right? We never ask that. Right? One bad thing happens, why it happens to me? Right? Or some bad things happen to somebody. Oh, why didn't happen to me? Should we ask? But something good thing has happened to somebody, then why did I get the lottery ticket? Right? Why it is so? Right? We always kind of trying to get the credit of all the good things. Whatever the good things in the project, right? There are 10 team members are there. Who has really made this project success? Yes, me. And if the project has gone wrong, what is it? Who is the cause behind the problem? Right? Yes. She said also, we try to run away, flight, panic. What else? How do you respond? Oh, very good, very good. Is this your first response? So when some problem comes, do you really think that, oh, why it has really happened? Sometimes, okay, very good. Very good, very good. Very good, very good, very good. Right? Yes, different persons have a different level of maturity to really deal with a problem. Very good. How else? You be silent? Wow, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, very good. Suffer. Okay, you really get dejected, isolated, right? Yes. Anything else? We ask our elders and seniors. Yes, yes, very good. Let's learn from nature, right? If something happens to some kind of an animal, how they react. There is one entity called electric eel. It's there in some part of world, right? What it does whenever, right, some predator or some entity comes near this, it gives a huge electric shock, right? And then it really, right, immobilizes, right, that entity, right? With that shock, it generates, right? And there is one more, something called hagfish. What it does, if something comes near to this hagfish, it really, throws out some slimy, dirty substance, right, to that. And there is one, right, which our friend said, it is something called explosive ant, right? What it does, if some problem comes, then it just busts, right? And suicide, right? So now, how does it really relate to us? There are some people, whenever there is some difficulty, they started going berserk, started hitting, beating, and doing all nonsense things, right? You see the road rages, you heard of it, right? How people, somebody, has overtaken you, then you go really wild, just to chase him, just to teach him a lesson, give him a peace of mind. You don't mind going 50 kilometers to really, ensure that, you really win that race, right? Or there are some people like who are hagfishes, who verbally abuse, while speaking, they don't measure, the temperature of the word and just say some insane, right, words, right? And most of the times it is our family members, right? Isn't it? Right? Who speak so, insensitive words, right? They don't really think that, like this tongue, though it's so soft, it is also very sharp. It can really, this sword can cut, one person once, but the sharp words of this tongue that can really cut you again and again and again and again, right? Isn't it? Right? So, right, and there are some people in the pressure situation, they just explode. As you said, they suffer. They really suffered so much of depressed, right? Like in the first class only, I was giving that statistics, right? That you might be thinking that, oh, COVID, we had a lot of people died. But my dear friends, every year, 8 to 10 lakhs people or around 1 million people die by suicide. Right? Can you believe it? Like in every 10 minutes, one person is making suicide. Why? Because they are not able to handle pressure. They're thinking that by ending our life, we'll be happy. And my dear friends, I was, shocked when I heard one more interesting statistics, especially amongst the genders. Do you know who commits more suicides? Huh? Yes. Sometimes we think that, oh, male means macho, they are strong, they are, this and that. This is a world statistics. The male suicide is 3 to 4 times more than the female suicide. Right? They are so broken apart. right? Sometimes you see, like, like we realize that, right? Especially even the elderly people, right? Right? We have seen that whenever, like, somebody has to die, either husband or wife, but whenever the wife dies first and the husband remains later, it becomes very difficult for the husband. Very difficult for them because they always find that there is a company, somebody to help, somebody to support. But if husband dies first, the wife can really, able to adjust, able to adapt, for so many years. But we have seen so many cases. Once wife leaves, husband, becomes very, very dull, and just a matter of time, they really leave also. Why? Right? Because they feel so much isolated, right? Yes, it's not really talking about elderly people also. We give the statistics, and the most number of suicide happens in this teenager nowadays, right? So yes, all of us have a responsibility, right? How we can bring this revolution that Lord has given this beautiful body to all of us, not to, right, do all this. He has given this beautiful gift to all of us, right? What we are is the Lord's gift to us. But what do we become is our gift to the Lord, right? And the Lord has given us a beautiful body, beautiful life, beautiful family members. He gives so much of resource to all of us. Instead of thanking the Lord, we are just ruining it, right? So now, so why we, what is the consequence and how it really happens, right? And most of the times it's because of, anger, right? Right? Just a fit of anger, fit of rage, we really do that. But why do we become angry? Why do we become angry? We should really try to understand the root cause. Why do we become angry? Yes, if somebody is not satisfying our wants or desires, that really leads to the anger. What else? Not meeting your expectations, right? Like they say, then everybody has some hot button, and we always try to hide it. But if somebody really touches that hot button, it could be, somebody talks about our looks, somebody talks about, our we as a person, or our child, or we talk about our parents, or somebody talks about our project. Somebody touches that hot button, we start flaring up. And if what happens if somebody starts hammering? And it's no surprise when we come across in a situation like that. Somebody starts hammering that, soft point that we have. Right? If all of us, whether we agree or not, we have some weak point. Do you agree? Or anybody is here who is all perfect? They don't have any weak point. And yes, and somehow or other, Lord has created also somebody, who knows your weak point. Right? So why once again, right? You said about, unmet satisfaction. Somebody really doesn't meet to our expectations. Bhagavad Gita, there's a very beautiful sloka. I would say 2 slokas, right? Which really says that, please chant after me. Dhyayata vishayan pumsha sangaste supajayate sanga sanjayate kama kama krodha vijayate. So what it says that, what is the origin of anger? How it starts? It starts with first contemplating on the same subjects. Oh, this will give me happiness. We start contemplating about it. We start thinking about it. And then we start developing attachment for it. And that attachment becomes strong desire. That's the lust. Lust means propensity to enjoy. We kind of develop a strong propensity to enjoy. And once that, we get it, it develops into greed. Oh, we want more. And then once we go into this, attachment, lust, and then it gets satisfied, then, we get more greed. But most of the times, things are limited. It doesn't get satisfied. We want love from our spouse. We want so much, from our office, our superiors, but we don't get it. Do we get all the time? We want bigger and bigger and bigger posts. We want bigger and bigger and bigger in the house. Is it always possible? No. And once it is not satisfied, then it translates into anger, which is one letter short of what? Danger. Yes. Do we realize that? Yes. Some are fortunate ones, right? Yeah. Like before going to the danger zone, right? We start asking, we start thinking why it happened to us, right? Is it possible for us to stop the anger at this stage? Or do you think that it's better to stop the anger at this stage? What do you think? First stage itself, because this, we see so much, this all ad industry is really based on this principle. They show you again and again, even for a car, they show you, oh, there's so many beautiful ladies on the car, and there's one person driving. Then you think, oh, maybe I'll also get that, Xylo or whatever the vehicle it is. Then I will also have so many, girls surrounded by, right? Everything. You brush your teeth, right? And then so many will kind of go around you, like you'll be like a celebrity, right? Everything. They just kind of, and they show you again and again and again and again, so that you start contemplating more and more. You start developing attachment. Oh, no. Next time I go, definitely I'll buy this one. Because if you show it once, you will forget it. But they show you multiple times, to create a deep impression that, ye, dil mange more. Right? Yes. But it doesn't stop there. Right? Then this anger, right? It is just a matter of time. It creates bewilderness. And with that, you really lose the intelligence. Even we have seen that a small child, we have seen so many news that, a grandmother denied, this child, and don't watch this, don't take these digital devices, don't play games on your digital devices. And this small boy, he started bringing a knife and started, killing the grandmother. Right? Or as we talked about the road races, right? Just a small incident. Somebody said something to you, it really ends up in shooting each other. Do you see that? Have you heard? It really goes into so much of big social crimes, right? But do you think that, is it once again, is it possible for us to stop at this point? We are thinking that, oh, how can we really, stop this, this violent activities, these rapes and these road rages, accidents, and killing each other, the violence, right? These are all the symptoms. The first thing starts, from here, right? As we are contemplating on the senses to enjoy more and more. So the root cause is the propensity to enjoy. The root cause is as you start contemplating, right? Yes, I want more, I want more, I want more. That is the reason which really leads to this devastating consequences, right? Okay, so now what is the solution? You must have seen this quote many places, right? But then we need to really understand what is ability, what is maturity, what is spirituality. Okay, so most of the times, it is not really what happens to us, that really makes us angry, but how somebody says, right? Right. That's why, somebody said that, right? Like, if somebody said something to us, first of all, we really pause, right? And then we reflect, and then we respond to it. Rather than just in a fit of rage, you just react to it, right? That is a difference, right? We, whenever something comes, we pause, and then we act on it. That is a leap before you leap, right? So most of the times, how can you really get that pause moment, that reflection moments, right? That is really very, very important for all of us, right? Because most of the times, right, because we don't have that, maturity, right, to really pause, because only few people who has that maturity, they have that ability to pause before reacting. Because most of the times, otherwise, we just burst into the reaction. So that's why I say the maturity is really to understand our ability to understand our ability. Okay, it might sound very technical, right? Because how we keep small things small and we keep big things big. Like if we are just going in a traffic, right? If somebody really says something, somebody presses the horn, or somebody is really, coming up with a beautiful advertisement somewhere, right? Are you really getting distracted if you really have to catch the airport? Maybe you have to go to catch the flight maybe at 3 o'clock. Do you really get distracted? Because we have big things in mind. We don't really get distracted by the small things, right? So maturity means what? To keep small things small and keep big things big, so that the small things don't impact the big things. So because most of the times we don't have that big picture, right? We really get bewildered, by the small things. It's just like this small, puddle, right? The small water comes up, it gets muddy. But in the ocean, right, however the rain comes, does it get muddy? Why? Because it has that depth, it has that maturity, right? But how do you get that maturity? That maturity. How do you get the strength to really pause and to reflect? How do you get it? Not that everybody has that. Like, we talked about only some, right, has that capacity, right? Like, most of the times, even in the cricket also, right? We can give cricket example as well. Sometimes they put the googly, right? And you get trapped by that, right? But then intelligent person, okay, now maybe there's a time for us to defend, not really kind of, they put the bowlers, they put the baits, right? And then you think, oh, this is a nice bouncer, let me kind of put a pull shot and then put a sixer. But then you don't know that, how the bowler, places also the fielders also in the right place to catch it also, right? So how a batsman, a matured batsman thinks how to really, okay, now he's really trying to put this one. How should I not really be bowled by this googly or by caught by this, this bouncer? And how you should really play intelligently, right? Because most of the times you see, the bowlers also, right? They kind of get beaten with a 4 and 6. Next ball, they bowled. The batsman gets bowled. Why? Because they go with that flow. Oh, let me do it, right? They don't kind of just think about it, right? They just go with the flow, right? And how, like, even like we say, like the Lord tests us in two situations. Sometimes with the failure and sometimes with the success also, right? Because most of the time with the success we get carried away. That becomes our slipping stones for the failure. So we say that, failures are the stepping stones to the success, and the success become slipping stones for the failure. Even so-called big CEOs, I remember, right, in our IIT convocations, right, we had invited one big 5 consulting, MD at that point of time. You might have heard Rajat Gupta. He was awarded, the alumni of the year, and so big award. Right, and everybody's, he was a role model, right? But then somebody tempted him with some short trading, right? And then it's just a matter of time he was put into the jail, right? Or you talk about this famous South Africa captain, right? Hansi Cronje, right? He was really, how he was given a bet, and then he could not understand, he could not reflect what is right and wrong, and he just acted with that impulse. Right? Okay, let me take it and get a quick money. Right? Do you know what happened? It's just a matter of time. Right? He got killed in a plane crash and hardly anybody talked about him. Right? Why? Because most of the times, because our roots are not stronger, a little wind comes, we get fall down. Because if the roots are stronger, if the foundation is strong, however the big hurricane comes, it becomes strong. And what is that root? What is our foundation? How strongly we are connected to the Supreme Lord. Is it clear? Why you are talking all these things? Okay, still, maybe, right? I'll give you, this very beautiful example. Maybe you can be able to relate it better. Our acharyas give this example, right? The senses, they really try to get all the sense objects. They are like the horses. And our mind is really the ropes, and the intelligence is really the kind of, the driver, right? And the soul is the passenger. If the senses, the horses would really like to go in his or her direction, right? If you just let loose, okay, jo ichha hai wahi karo, wo man ki raja hai, jo ichha hai wahi karta hai. वो मन की राजा है या मन की गुलाम है? गुलाम है, right? It's not man ki raja, because it's just a servant of the mind, right? So at this point of time, we let loose our senses. ठीक है, खाने की इच्छा है, जो भी इच्छा खाओ, पीने की इच्छा है, कुछ भी पीने करो, कुछ देखने की इच्छा है, जो देखने का है देखो. All the kind of pornography, this and that. Why? Because we just let loose all our senses. But then a mind, if the mind is strong, then rein. Right? We control the horses through the mind, through the reins. And the mind also, in our Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is saying mind can be friend, mind can be enemy also. And the mind has to be controlled by intelligence, the driver. How kind of the driver pulls, right, with the reins. So intelligence has to be sharpened, right? And then, right, once intelligence gets stronger, and then it can carry the soul. So yes, how we can strengthen our intelligence? How we can intelligence? Through the scriptures. Because we know that what is right and wrong. We get the discrimination power, right? And then, right, that through the scriptures, we connect to the Lord. Our root gets stronger, right? Our soul gets connected, to the Supreme Lord. We have a higher purpose. We have a bigger meaning of the life, right? Through that intelligence, that gets sharpened, right? And then our mind gets stronger, right? Otherwise, the horse will just pull away they break that rope, right? How you make the mind stronger? Manas trayate iti mantra. Through mantras. And the best of the mantras is Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So that's why, in our Shastras and Bhagavad Gita, Lord is giving a very beautiful example in the second chapter. We talked about hag-faced, electric eel, and explosive ant, and he gives fourth example in Bhagavad Gita how a human being should respond to a provoking situation by being a turtle. Why in our temples, like especially in ancient temples, they put a turtle in the temple? Any reason? Do you know that why? Sorry? Okay, same speed. Yes. Anybody else? Whenever there is some, difficult circumstances comes, right? It draws all the limbs inside. Is it? And when the favorable situation, it opens all the limbs and it starts moving. Have you seen that? Right? Yes. Yada samharate chayam kurmanganaiva sarvasa indriyani indriyarthavyasa tasya prajna pratisad. The prajna, the intelligent person, what he does? He behaves like a tortoise. Right? So that's why Prabhupada is given a very beautiful sentence. I would really like all of you to remember this. If you want to understand who is really a great person is not that whose movie got maybe 1,000 crore or or a person who is having a huge amount of billion of dollars. He is a great person. Who is a great person? We can understand the greatness of a person. Please repeat after me. One's greatness has to be estimated by one's ability to tolerate provoking situations. Now you understand? If we are weak, then we just react with anger. So the angry person is not the strongest person, he's the weakest person. Right? But a person who is able to tolerate, so at home, if somebody is raising louder voice, means he's the weakest. So at this point of time, right, whoever is stronger, he has to ensure or she has to ensure that, he has to or she has to feed the other person so that he or she become stronger. Would you really like to beat again the weaker person? How do you react to that weaker person? You become compassionate, isn't it? You become feel pity for it, isn't it? Are you clear on this point? Right? Right? Yes. In a relationship, right? And we should really understand that if we are saying sorry, means we are not the weakest person at that point of time. We care for the relationship more than who is winning and who is losing, or who is right or who is wrong. Is it clear? Right? So yes, We need to really understand that how, like, tolerate doesn't mean also that we just take it into our heart completely and we get abused and in so many other ways. No, it means that just reflect, have time for reflection, have pause in your life when you go through some difficulties, right? And then respond to it, right? It means that there has to be perseverance. There has to be reflection in our life. Okay, so once we understood how to respond instead of react, then let's go to the next step, right? We have to do the needful, whatever has to be done. We cannot just be silent and just let it go as well, right? We have to address the situation. If there is a disease, we have to find out which is the right hospital, which is the right doctor. We have to find out, right? We have to do the needful. If allopathy works or homeopathy works or Tirupati works, whatever it is, we have to do the needful. We cannot run away from the responsibilities, right? We cannot and we should not. Is it clear? Right? Yes. Sometimes as a Bhagwan ne bachche ko diya hai, Bhagwan is sambhal lenge. Then why do you as a parents and why parents are there? Bhagwan parents ko diya hai ki bachche ko bada karne ke liye. Isn't it? Yes, it is our responsibilities. It is your responsibility office to do the work. We cannot run away from our responsibilities in the name of this or that. Whatever the responsibility we have to do it. Are we clear? Right. And whenever we are having some difficulties, we need to raise our hand. If somebody is really drowning in the ocean, the first thing what he or she has to do, you have to raise the hand. I need help. Right? Because most of the people think that I don't need help. I am the best, I am the strongest, and they are the weakest actually. Right? Believe me, we have seen so many people. They are so lonely that they don't speak to anybody, and they are the most depressed people. Because they don't have any friends, they don't have anyone to speak to, they don't speak to their parents, they don't speak to their spouse, they don't have any friends, right? And once they go through it, they just get sucked into themselves. Right? So it is very important to have some friends through which you can seek help. Right? If you need help, just you have to raise your hand. There are so many near and dear ones, right? Who are the real wishers, well-wishers, right? They are there to help you. Please raise your hand. Nobody knows. Nobody is your Paramatma, right? Like, that they can come to you and kind of guide you, right? People are there to help you, right? Either in an office, definitely there is some expert there, or in a spirituality, there is some person who has that maturity who can really help you, right? Or in a household or else, maybe somebody, without any selfless motive, somebody is there to help you. But you have to find out. You have to put that effort. You have to find out the right hospital, right? Which is the right doctor, right? Right? Yes. And that's why Lord has given this very famous verse. Please chant. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phalesu kadachana ma karma phala heturvur ma te sangastva karmani. What is the meaning? Most of the times we know this verse. Karmanyevadhikaraste. Thanks to once again Mr. B.R. Chopra. Right? Right? What is the meaning of this verse? Anybody knows? Yes? Like just work is worship. Gadhe ke jaise kaam karo. Gadha is your role model. That's what it is. Right? Or ऐसा है कि ma phalesu kadachana. Phal ki chinta mat karo. Like if I'm cooking, jitna salt डालना है डालो, चिंता मत करो ये ज्यादा नमक होगा या कम नमक होगा. इसका ये मतलब है. But what is the meaning of this verse? Yes, Lord is trying to say that you do your prescribed duty. What you are supposed to do as a kind of, as a mother, as a father, as an employee, or as a director of a company, right? Or as a member of the society, whatever is required, please do the needful. Please do the needful. At the same time, don't be attached to the results. Yes, you should have a goal in your life. right? But at the same time, you should not be attached to the result, because once you're getting attached to the result, at the time we think that this result is because of my effort only. There are so many players involved in the result. Do you agree? That we are the co-workers, right, with so many people to achieve one result, right? One time, one of our devotee had gone to one hospital, right? And this doctor said, oh, sadhu baba logon ko bhi hamare hospital aana padta hai. Yes, we need some treatment, and that's why we have come here. No, you realize, who is big, God or doctor? Then, like this devotee said, like, why do you think so? You see, I give the medicine through which we get cured, right? We give really life to the people. And this devotee, he started thinking how to respond to this person. He said, by the way, in your hospital, do the people die also? Yes, उनका तकदीर में वो लिखा होता है मरने का, तो मरेंगे. So why do you really make them die? Right? When person is really saved, you take the credit. When person is dying, तकदीर में लिखा हुआ था. Right? So, but a true doctor, right? I have seen, like in last of our GITA course, and he was coming and he was saying that I treat, God heals. A doctor treats, God heals. So there is a co-worker, there is a cohesive relationship. Yes, we have to put our effort, and then we need the grace of the Lord. It has to go together. It's not that, oh, I leave it everything to the Lord, or not that also I depend only on my effort. This has to go together. We'll be discussing in our karma section very much in detail, but this is for the time being. Are you clear on this? That don't think that if you're a failure means, yes, Lord has some plan for you to make you stronger. All right? Just like, once we make a pav bhaji, right? If you take the only potato, you don't really like a potato, right? But then once you boil it, once you smash it, once you put it in a curry, and then once you put some masala, and after that, somebody serves you, it's so sweet. But what that potato has to go through during that process to make it so delicious. You got my point? Right? Yes, Lord is also planning some nice bhaji for us. Right? So don't cry at that point of time. Why Lord is doing? Right? He's getting us better and better version of ourselves. Right? If we are really given a tough project, it means we are learning newer and better things, isn't it? Sometimes in our life also, if we have given a tough partner, means we are getting more stronger. Right? Yes, it is. Right? Okay. So how do you have to work? We have to work, right? Yeah. Like yes, we have to do our work, but not getting attached. And just we give this example, of this coconut, right? It's just a matter of time, right? How this coconut inside that, one really gets detached, from the cell. So always we need to remember that we do our best and they leave the rest to the Lord. And yes, once again here, he said, do your best, not be the best. There's a difference. You got this, right? Not that, oh, I always want to be the best. No, you cannot be the best all the time, always, in all the places, in all the situations. But then, that's why even the athletes also, once they practice it, they don't practice in the group. They practice alone, and they kind of compare themselves with what they did each time. Okay, I clocked this 100-meter race, maybe 8 seconds. Okay, maybe next time I do 7.9 seconds. Next time I do 7.5 seconds. They compare with themselves. They benchmark themselves with what exactly they did earlier. They really trying to benchmark, okay, if they are progressing, whatever they did earlier or not. Right? So don't try to compare with others. Try to compare with what you were earlier. Then you will realize that how beautifully you are progressing in your life. Now, don't always try to look back in your mirror. If you always look, back, or if you always look in the side, you'll be able to go ahead. Is it possible? You'll make accident. Right? Yes, proceed further. Yes. No, I'm kind of really going in the right direction at the right speed. Yes, I'm happy with that. Right? Okay. And then, yes, all of us know this example. Maybe we'll also discuss. How many of you know this example? Story? Some of you still don't know that how Lord Ram, he wanted to build the Setu. right? And everybody came forward to build the setu. Even a squirrel also came, right? Even this Hanumanji, all the monkeys, they were coming, big mountains, big rocks. At the same time, the squirrel also was doing his job, that I want to do something for the Lord also. Right? At this time, Hanumanji was saying, hot. And the Lord recognized, oh, he has become so arrogant, so proud that, he's carrying big things and he's not respecting, my associate squirrel. Right? Then I called Hanumanji, do you know, the squirrel also carrying, much higher than his weight. You should respect. And I'm very happy. That's why he has given a sign. Right? Yes, I'm happy with your service. Yes, Lord also has given a different signs to all of us as well. In different ways. Right? We should be happy with whatever work that we are doing. Lord recognizes once we do our best. Not necessarily the best, in the world. Are you clear? Okay, let's proceed. Okay, at the same time, right? We do the needful, we take the medicine, we took the supplements. At the same time, as we said, there is also a co-worker, there is a Lord, there is a God in the control. So please don't forget that to connect to the Lord. Right? To connect to the Lord. Yes, in that helpless situation, right? After this Gajendra tried for hundreds and thousands of years, then at the end, he surrendered to the Lord. Right? At some point of time, yes, not everything in our control. We put our effort, the best effort. We take the best of the medicine for the disease. But then we know that somebody gets cured, somebody dies. Right? Not everything is in our control. But whatever happens, either good or bad, definitely it is good for that person. Right? Somebody might ask how it is good for that person who is leaving that body. Yes, he's going back to the supreme abode. Right? He's going to the supreme abode. Right? Now he's going from a 2 BHK to nice, beautiful bungalow. Right? Yes, that is the understanding. That's what we said. The aim of life, the last point in the Gita, that this life, this material world is not in all, it's a spiritual world. What really Lord takes care at that point of time of difficulty is our faith. Right? He ensures that why somebody is really born with a so strong faith, why somebody is really born with a kind of a demoniac nature. Right? Because that is a faith, Lord carries from one life to another lifetime. You cannot carry anything else. But what Lord preserves? Yogakshemam bahamiham. That's what Lord says in Bhagavad Gita. Lord protects our faith in the Lord. So that's why it is mentioned that how we should be connected to the Lord. And some of you said, yes, this suffering is an impetus. We should really thank the Lord that how Lord is making a bhaji out of us. Lord is making us more and more shine, just like a diamond. The more it is shined, the more luster comes. Yes. Once again, very humbly, and I am very respectful in saying this. Yes, it is very easy to speak that, yes, we are getting fine-tuned. But then, yes, this is true. Right? At the same time, if somebody is really going through some problems, some difficulties, we don't say that, oh, you are getting refined. Right? It is very insensitive. Right? Yes, we have to do the needful. We have to respect. We have to be sensitive, to his or her, whatever difficulty he is going through, and right, we should try to help. At the same time, we should try to ensure that he is really connected to the Lord, through which, because Lord is all attractive. He is the source of infinite source of power and strength and compassion and knowledge. We might not be able to support, but Lord is able to support. At that point of time, what do we do during our difficult times? In our Gita course also, we do. And if somebody is really going through problems, we really ask, okay, this devotee is going through this problem, health problem, this problem or that problem. Let's pray to the Lord. Iska koi nahi hota hai, iska Bhagwan hota hai. Yes, Lord is taking care of him. Right? We might be thinking that we are alone. Right? At any point of time, yes, we might be very helpless, but we should not be hopeless at any point of time. Because always we should remember that even if the whole world, kind of misunderstands us, but there is one person who is always with us. He really understands us, and that is the Supreme Lord. That's why a devotee is never hopeless, is never depressed, and a depressed person is not a devotee. A devotee person is not depressed, and devotee is not depressed. Is it clear? Because he has unlimited hope. He has asanubandha, hope against hope that the Lord is there. The one of the critical attribute of a devotee is that asanubandha, right? Rakshati iti viswasa. Yes, Lord is there to protect me, right? And because we understand that, yes, because if you do a little bit also, and Lord takes care of so many things. And then how do you really connect with the Lord, right? Yes, in Bhagavatam and on scriptures, the beautiful way to connect with the Lord is given through the hearing and chanting of the Lord. Yes, in this Kali Yuga, it is very difficult. This is the very, beautiful attributes of Kali Yuga is given. Na prayan alpayusha sabhya kalau asmin yugejana manda sumanda mataya. Yes, this whole world is full of difficulties, ocean of faults, and people are quarrelsome, lazy, right? And if you are just, in a hospital, with so much epidemic, we don't wonder, oh, why so much people are getting suffering. Yes, this is a time of epidemic. The Kali Yuga is like that. People are kind of very sensitive, quarrelsome, they are lazy, and they are always disturbed, right? But at the same time, Lord is saying that there is one good quality. Kale dose nidhe rajan. Yes, this Kali Yuga is full of faults, ocean of problems. There is no dearth of problems in the Kali Yuga, but there is one good qualities. Asti eka mahan guna. What is that? Kirtanad eva Krishnasya mukta sangha param. Kirtanad eva Krishnasya. Once we chant the name of the Lord Krishna, we really transcend all the problems of the life. What is the ultimate solution? Hare Krishna Kirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. At the same time, when, especially in our Krishna book, we hear that, when in the Dharti, in the earth planet, there were so many problems, all the devatas, and all of them, they went to the Kir Sagar to pray to the Lord, right? When Kamsa was really, torturing everybody, at that time, Lord said, I will come. But did he come immediately? No, he came after 11 years, right? Or, you take some medicine. Does it mean that you will really get completely cured as you take the medicine? No, it takes its own time, right? Even a mother, you cannot ask that, oh, now kind of, I got married and next moment, can I have a baby? It's not possible, right? You cannot say, no, everything has to act like, my mail or a tweet. Fast. It's the speed of 5G or 4G, right? No, everything takes its own time. Have patience, be steady, be sober, right? While you go through that problem, please ensure that, that yes, it takes some time. Lord also, asks you to go through this process for some time to get fine-tuned. At that point of time, thank the Lord. Oh Lord, I had committed so much of sinful activities. I'm just getting a token of reactions, right? And he's saying that, oh Lord, right? I have done so many mischievous things. I'm just getting a token of reaction. And at this point of time, I'm very thankful to you that how you are helping me in grow, right? Yes, you are giving me tougher and tougher. Like you go to the coaching institute, they give you tougher and tougher test papers so that you get more and more stronger, so that you can crack NEET or IIT entrances very beautifully, get a good scores, right? So that's why we're thankful to the coaching institute. So why not thank the Lord also? Oh Lord, thank you. Like there is a very beautiful Kunti Maharani, Pandava's mother. She's very very beautiful prayer. Of course, we cannot imitate Mother Kunti. She's saying that let the problems come again and again, oh Krishna. Why? Because whenever there are problems, you are with us. Right now, all the problems gone. Kurukshetra war is over. Now we are going to Dwarka. What is the use of this? All this kingdom now, because now we are away from you. So of course, we might not be able to imitate Queen Kunti. That we might not welcome the problems, but whenever the problem comes, we acknowledge it and we understand that. Very beautiful question, as you said. What Lord is asking me to learn from this problem? How I should really grow through this situation, not just kind of be dejected and despondent and really be depressed about the situation, right? That is the learning, right? And this is a very beautiful prayer of Brahma. We'll discuss sometime later. And here, right, at any point of time, we should really, pray to the Lord by, just with this very three beautiful statement, right? Because sometimes we really wonder, what should we do, right? We should tolerate or we should act, or, what should we really do? Then we should really pray to the Lord. Oh Lord, please give me the courage to change the things which can and ought to be changed, and the serenity to accept the things which cannot be changed, and the wisdom to know the difference. You got this point? Yeah, there are some things which have to be, dealt with, right? We have to work on it. Right? There are some things which, after putting so much of effort, it is really not solving the problem. Then smile at it. Oh, this is Lord's plan. This is Lord's plan at this point of time to make us a better. Right? Don't try to kind of resent against the plan against of the Lord at that point of time. Right? And that wisdom also, we have to pray to the Lord. Oh Lord, please give us that wisdom. Right? So that we know what is the difference. And then as we pray and as you wait, this is the most important things we should do. Yes, we sometimes get so much of resentment against the mistake or the problem somebody has really caused to us, or some situation caused to us at that point of time. Let's not carry the coal within our heart. Somebody said something, but he's living his own life. But then we are having so much of resentment and anger, carrying that coal within our heart. At that point, it's important to remove that coal. Right? Yes, it is important. Let's forgive. Right? But there are different stages of forgiveness also. Right? It's not that we forgive and we start having the same relationship again. No, we forgive and then we monitor. Is he really getting rectified or not? If he's not getting rectified, then we don't trust. But if he's getting rectified, then we monitor it some time and then we trust. So there are different levels also. It's not that okay, somebody has really abused us, right, and continuing to abuse us, and we still kind of continue to forgive and maintain the same relationship. No, we're not asking to kind of completely just be abused and then kind of as a matter of time, then you really come out as a volcano. Right? Yes, we have to address the problem as well. Right? Yes, but there are very beautiful two things I would really like you to take home. There are two things that you should always forget. That anything bad anyone has done to you, so don't bring that coal, right? This hot coal inside you. And also whatever good things, right, that you have done to others, don't keep it into your heart, because it brings you the pride, the arrogance, right? So please try to forget these two things. And what are the two things you should remember? That yes, this life is short. Death can come at any moment, in any way, right? And the only shelter that we have to take is chanting of the Lord's holy name. And after knowing all these things, as you are getting cured with this disease, and we are coming out of this problem, this is the last step that we are saying, right? Yes, don't be a miser and just getting benefited yourself only, but then serve and share also with others. Right? Because once you give a flower to somebody, your hand also becomes so fragrance, isn't it? Right? Yes, and try to extend your hand in whatever way we can. Right? That's the quality of a devotee. That's the quality of a sadhu. Right? They see that. It's a very beautiful verse in Bhagavatam. It is said that the best worship to the Supreme Lord, all right, it's not that we can come up with some expensive jewelry or organize a big event and things like that, but how we can really mitigate the sufferings of all the sufferings of the people in general. Right? And for that, they go through so much of difficulties. That's why we saw that, how the sadhus, they go through so much of difficulties. They go through so much of painful process so that they can uplift others. And that's the quality of our Srila Prabhupada, how he went through so much challenges, so much difficulties, so that all of us can get benefited. Right? Yes, he's requesting all of us that yes, this ocean, there are so many waves of sufferings are there. But at the same time, in that ocean, you have seen, especially in the West, they use a surfboard. They really release it. So you can hear also, this material world also can become a beautiful surfboard for us to really, dive. And how do you do it? By this 5-step process. Once again, I am summarizing it. Okay. Yes. First thing is that don't aggravate the disease. Don't complain, compare, criticize with anyone. And then during that difficult times, avoid, the harmful or toxic ambience, right? If we give this example of if a crow is fighting with the eagle doesn't fight with the crow, but it goes to the higher levels, right? We are having some problems in a specific atmosphere. Yeah, try to kind of go to an atmosphere where you can really get a peace of mind. right? Don't try to complain. Don't try to react like that hacked face or electric eel or that hand, to self-abuse yourself. At the same time, please ensure you take the right medicine, right? Whatever it, do your best. And at the same time, take some supplements as well. Take the association of the right-minded people who can really help you in growing further, right? And then, yes, once you take the medicine, right? It's not that everything is in our hand. There is a God who is in control. So please offer your prayer to the Lord. Please be grateful to the Lord that how he's really helping us in our growth, in helping us in waking up. And then, yes, it's not that once you pray to the Lord, you will get the solution also right away. You have to wait for the cure, right? Don't go and tell the Lord, oh Lord, I need it right now, right? Lord is not a order supplier for you. He also tests us, how we are doing it, right? At that point, just forgive and let go and be consistent with your practice. And then last but not the least, you extend your hand. Okay, any questions or comments before we proceed to the next section? Okay, any questions or comments from anyone? Anyone here? Any questions or comments? Yes, please. Anybody would like to share anything? Okay, I'm just sharing if you don't have any questions, I'll share the question to you. Or otherwise, you can scan it here. Yes. You can scan it here and you can, okay, I'm just sending it right away. I know there are a lot of topics we discussed today. So you get the question also in your WhatsApp group. You must have received a link. Please. Yes. Just a second. I would request all of you to please attempt this question, because this is how, once again, our understanding of the problems, understanding how we go through it will become clear. So I request all of you to please attempt. Please respond to that form. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. 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 No, that's how we gave the example of tortoise. In an unfavorable environment, we bring all our limbs, right? We don't speak if there is an envious atmosphere, or we don't hear from others also. But in a favorable atmosphere, once you come in the devotees, you glorify as much as Krishna. Is it clear? Yes, because at this point of time, our faith is not strong enough. If they say something, we'll not be able to justify them, we'll not be able to defend them, we'll not be able to debate with them. At this point of time, just withdraw all your limbs in the unfavorable atmosphere, just like a tortoise, right? And then once you come in the association of devotees, you start glorifying the Lord. I read Bhagavad Gita, I read Bhagavatam, I read this scripture, I heard from this devotee, that devotee. Then you talk about them as much as possible. Is it clear? Hare Krishna. I would request all of you to please attempt. Please share your learning. Please give your takeaways from the lessons. What one thing you are going to apply in your life. And sometimes you ask these questions, you might not respond to that session, but definitely will be answering in subsequent sessions. Okay, so anybody has already started responding? Okay, we have already Aparajita, Dhruv Mittal. Who is Dhruv Mittal? Okay, thank you. Jyoti Rawat. Who is there? Ankita Bhattacharya. Okay. Okay, so please share your learnings as well. I would request all of you to share at least one learning. One principle that you are going to apply in your life. Yes, yes, please. Yes, 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 yes. Like we talked about this Gita, Gita. Right? Most of the people believe this Gita, that there is a God, might call in a different way. There is an identity. Everybody understands this. We are not the body. Everybody believes on the transmigration. Everybody believes in that there is a higher goal of life. Right? Everybody believes that there are some universal truth are there. That yes, we have to tell the truth. We have to live a very pious life. We have to accept that there is a Lord. We have to align ourselves with the words of the Lord. We have to act for the pleasure of the Lord. That Lord, different people might say in different ways. But everybody's the common goal for everybody is to love God. Right? That we can discuss. That okay, somebody might be, loving God in a certain way. Some other person might be loving God in a different way. That's a detail. Is it okay? That yes, as we really grow further, we really understand how everybody talks about the same things, but maybe in a detail might vary. Okay. Hare Krishna.